I've never worked a 9 to 5 job and never will. And here's exactly how and why. Well, first of all, since I've been about maybe even like 5-6 years old, I've been entrepreneurial minded and entrepreneurial spirited, and my parents always brought me up like that. It was never, first of all, like just never even a thing that like, you know, my brother and I were gonna grow up and get jobs. Like my dad and my mom, even though we came from very humble beginnings, they always told us to create your own stuff, have your own IP. If there was anything that we wanted to do, they challenged us to think about like how to do it on our own, right? Like how to build it on our own, even from nothing, and just through work ethic. And by the time I was 23 years old, I had built a 7-figure land flipping company. I had made over 7 figures in profit. And I mean, those principles from me being a child just carried on until me being an adult. And now that has continued to scale, my businesses have continued to scale, and I'm in a position where I'll never have to work a job, ever. The only I'd say job I worked was I was like 12 years old and I worked at my uncle's car wash. And I just want to make a few hundred dollars a week, and it was fun to do, so I did that. But as far as like getting up, clocking in, commuting every day like so many people do, and so many people, I mean, let's be honest, miserably do, I'll never do that. And so it's important to understand that if you want to get away from that whole 9 to 5 life and have time freedom, have financial freedom, because really, who doesn't want that? Like, who doesn't want the ability to be able to get up in the morning and decide what they want to do, how they want to spend their time, where they want to spend their time, who they want to spend their time with? Every single day I wake up, I'm able to do that. I'm able to build and create things that allow me to never have to work, really. My family doesn't have to work. Wife, daughter, they don't have to work. They don't have to do anything that they don't want to do, all because of these systems. So the first thing really is removing yourself from the hive mind. Many of the things that were put out there, like all the advertisements, all the distractions, all the entertainment, just all the stuff that's out there was made to distract you. Most of it was made to distract you. And most of it also is not true. This whole myth about, you can work until you're 65, save up for retirement, and you'll have $1 million hopefully to live off of, when you're 65. That doesn't work. And I know that doesn't work because I've met people that are 65, 68, 70 years old, and that thing that they were told their whole lives, well, then they're actually told, oh, well, because of this caveat, we can't give it to you. Or because of this caveat, you're not going to be able to retire at this time, you got to do this. Or something happens where they have to pay for something, or a wedding, or something happens to them, and then that retirement money is gone. Now, this is scary. This is a very scary thing. And you have to realize, the government and the system and all the places that you put your 401k into and all these things, they take your 401k money, they take all that money, and by the time it's worth $1 million to you, they've redistributed it, and they've probably made 20x on what it is that you have. So you just have to think about a lot of these things, because for me, I've learned and realized okay, well, the way that they've marketed the system was not built for me. And so I have to empower myself with the knowledge to be able to build companies, build businesses that are profitable, and make the right investments over a consistent amount of time. So that way, as I get older, I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to my name. And if you're not trying to do it this way, then you're gonna have it a little bit tougher than most people will that are trying to do it that way. So removing yourself from the hive mind, removing yourself from all the distractions as well. Stop allowing yourself to get so easily distracted, because you'd be surprised what you can actually do with 4 hours of just focused, deep work. That's probably around what I'll do every day. Anywhere from 4 to 6 hours of just focused, deep work. No distractions, headphones on, focus, deep work, whatever it is, whether it be responding to Slack messages, whether it be reviewing calls, whether it be meeting with the team, whether it be looking at KPIs, whether it be talking to a client. I always do deep work on how to progress my companies. I'm always doing deep work on how to progress my okay, so if it's like, okay, this email funnel, how do we fix this email funnel? How do I make it more efficient? How do I do that? Every single day. Now, the other thing to understand with like making sure that you never have a job and that you don't ever have to work a job is because once you don't have a job, you actually are 100% dependent on yourself. And that is scary if you've never done it before, but it's also extremely empowering once you figure out how to do it. Because I know that no matter what happens in my life, I have a skill set that consistently allows me to make $100,000 a month at least. So there hasn't been a month for a very long time in my life where I didn't hit that number. And so that just has to do with skill sets, building up your skill set to a level where you know that like no matter what happens this month, I'm gonna do this, and that's a benchmark. And that all has to do with the deep work and focus initially. So you have to do a certain amount of deep work, has to be a certain amount of focus when you first start in order to build your skills up like that. And when I first started, man, I would put in 10, 12, 15, 20 hours literally a day. Like sometimes I wouldn't sleep on just learning and applying, like figuring out how to do something and then executing it. If I get it wrong, okay, what did I get wrong? How do I do that correctly? And I would just do that over and over and over and over again. And if you want to be a person dependent on yourself, then that's what you have to do. You have to go through that process. And really, like, most people are not dependent on themselves. Most people actually don't control their time. Most people don't control their finances. Most people are stressed out. And if you don't want to be in that cycle of like, you know, I have to wait every single 2 weeks to get my paycheck. I have to ask this person for paid time off. I have to, like, it's just, I don't think that you actually realize what there is in the world and how big the world is and how many opportunities there are for you if you're still living in the 9-to-5 cycle. Like, you don't even understand it yet. You don't understand it yet. And so it takes you like removing yourself from the hive mind and being like, you know what? If someone else has been able to make hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit, if not millions of dollars in profit, without reporting to anyone, and I want to be a person that has complete control over my life, then why can't I do that too? And it starts with that question. It starts with the question of, why can't I do that too? There's really no reason why you can't. Now, yes, it takes hard work. It takes trusting yourself. It takes depending on yourself. It takes understanding how to manage your money correctly. It takes all these things. But if you do all these things correctly, my God, it's so worth it. It's so worth it to be able to like literally just get up like I'm doing and just take a walk. I want to make sure I hit my steps today, so I'm going to take a walk. And I'm like, you know what? I'll film a video while I do it. That's very enjoyable. It's much more enjoyable than like, oh, hey, I have to submit this report at this time and I have to do this. Otherwise, I'm not going to get my paycheck. And like, that's something I always told myself I just wasn't going to do and I wasn't going to settle for. I always knew that like, I would never get a job. I would never get a job. I would have been willing to like literally, there were times in my business very early on where I had to like pinch pennies. I had to be very smart with my money and just figure out how to get the mail consistently, how to get the text messages consistently, how to do all that consistently so that way, you know, I get deals in and I make money. But I would have much rather had the stress of doing that at first than having the stress of like, damn, I gotta go work for somebody. I have to go to this job and I don't want to. That's the thing. Like, if you don't want to do it, if you don't want to do it, then you shouldn't be doing it. We only live on this planet for a certain amount of time. And so if you're doing things that you don't want to do, why are you doing that? Spend your time on learning how to get as wealthy as possible, because there's so much out there in the world. There's so much that you can have access to with more time freedom, with more financial freedom. The other thing too is once you remove yourself from the hive mind, you also have to have a vehicle that gets you there consistently. If you don't have a vehicle that gets you there, well, then you might as well go to your job. And so most people will find these vehicles that are just like even like really high revenue vehicles, very low profit margin vehicles. Find something that's very, very profitable. you want to find something that's profitable, and that's why I learned how to start flipping. You want to find something that's profitable, and that's why I learned how to flip land, because I saw years and years ago that people were making $100,000, $200,000, $50,000 on just one or two deals. And I was like, wow, like if that's profit, that's insane. And then the more I dug deep, I realized that it was profit, and I realized that this is one of the highest profit margin and best cash flow business models that you can have ever, especially when you're starting out. And so I just doubled down and focused on that vehicle, and I got really good at every single skill along the way in the funnel. So I got really good at market selection, I got really good at marketing, I got really good at talking to people, I got really good at selling property, I got really good at all of that. And I built those skills to the point where today I make several hundreds of thousands of dollars a quarter closing deals, and people pay me for my advice on how to do the same thing as well. I built the skill to that extent to where that is my life now, to where I can talk to someone about doing a deal, how to do the deal. They can be completely lost on what's going on with the deal. And I've seen this before because I've done it hundreds of times. I've done the deal before. I've maybe even talked to a similar kind of seller before. This all comes with experience. This comes with taking the reps. This comes with taking all the calls. It comes with getting hung up on. It comes with sending out 10,000 mailers and nothing coming back. It comes with all of it. And so you have to have a highly profitable vehicle if you want to be a person that doesn't work a 9-to-5 anymore. And the other thing that I'll tell you too is, when you do work a 9-to-5 and when you are working for someone's company, you have to understand that you're actually building another person's dream. You're building another person's dream, and you're in another person's system. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. Like if what you want to do is be in another person's system and just like kind of just coast along and chill out and whatever, that's fine. But if you want to be a person that builds, like if you're watching me, you probably want to be a person that builds and gets out of the 9-to-5 and is not there. Because if you're watching this, then the title resonated with you, the thumbnail resonated with you, which means that you're like, man, I want to get out of this situation. I don't like this. I feel like I'm meant for more. I feel like I'm supposed to be doing more. And if you feel like you're supposed to be doing more, if you feel like you're meant for more, if you feel like you're ready to build a system that prints you cash week after week, month after month, quarter after quarter, feel free to book a strategy call in below. I'd be happy to help you. So once you've gotten to the point where you've mastered the vehicle and you've mastered the skills in the vehicle, so let's say for land flipping, you've mastered marketing, you've mastered market selection, you've mastered acquisitions, you've mastered dispositions, you've mastered pretty much every function, and you've also recorded processes on how to do each one of those tasks to their best abilities. Well, then it's time to delegate, and it's time to hire out, so that way now the company runs without you. And this is the level that I've built my business to the point where I only really have to put a couple hours a week into it. And you want to build a business that does that, because I cannot tell you how freeing it is to know I could be on the plane somewhere and we'll close a deal. I could be doing literally anything and we'll close a deal. Now, of course, you have check-ins, you have things that you're required to do, of course. But it is very rare that people build businesses in which they are not required to really run, right? It's very rare. If something happened to me, if a car came flying through here, God forbid, and just hit me and I died, my business would still close multiple deals this month. And that is something that gives me ultimate peace of mind. So really what all this is about is peace of mind. You want to have peace of mind so that way your family is taken care of, you're taken care of, and you can just have the life you want to have, and just, I mean, really just be in a sense of theta so that you can continue to build. And so what I've done is put myself in a sense of constant theta, calm, and relaxation so that I can continue to build my empire to where it's going. And that's what you have to do. If you're constantly stressed out about this deal, that deal, this is happening, that's happening, this is happening, oh my God, I gotta put this fire out, I gotta put this fire out. If you don't have systems to manage all of those things, then what will happen is you're gonna be in a constant state of stress. And if you're in a constant state of stress, you're not gonna be able to solve the problems to the best of their ability, and you won't be able to actually push your empire forward and grow things further. If you can't grow things further, then you stagnate. So you have to put yourself in a situation where you've automated things to the point where you can actually push yourself forward. And that's what this is about. That's why I build the land flipping businesses. That's why I teach people how to do them, because you want to do the deals, you want to learn the process, learn the systems, and then automate everything pretty much to where you only have to put a couple hours a week into it. And so that no matter what happens to you, no matter what happens, it's almost like insurance. Like, my business would genuinely run for a few months after my death, and we will still close deals. And that's like probably much longer than a few months. But I set it up that way for my peace of mind. I set it up that way for my peace of mind. You should have vehicles that move without you. That's what you should have. So like these automated, I think they have these automated cars that just kind of drive without a driver. That's what you want your business to do. But this all starts from like the base. That's the highest level. This all starts from the base of you being like, you know what? Enough is enough. I don't want to do this anymore. I know I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of this. I'm working a dead-end job. There's no means to this. I don't see how I'm gonna grow from this. I don't see how I'm gonna make more money from this. It blows my mind that people go years and years and years making the same income. Well, to me, that shows me that you've made no progression. Sometimes people revert and regress in income. To me, that shows me that you're getting worse. Every single year, every year since I've been 20 years old, my income has doubled. Every year. Every year. And it's because I'm constantly getting better. It's because I'm constantly just outdoing myself, constantly building processes, constantly learning, constantly applying what I learn as well. And you have to do this. Like, if you want that freedom, that's what it takes. If you want that freedom, that's what it takes. If you want to be able to, like, you know what, I'm going to get up and go here today, that's what it takes. And you can have this. Like, if I can have this, if so many of my other clients can have the same thing, why can't you have this? Why can't you do it? Why can't you? And I don't, like, the other thing too, when people are like, oh, well, yeah, it's important to work and you got to have security. Security to me is knowing that I built systems that no matter what will print cash. That's security. Security is not, will I get my paycheck this week or will I not? That's not what security is. And if you think that's what security is, that's why you have to remove yourself from the hive mind. So if you want to be able to escape from this traditional 9-to-5, traditional grind, hustle every single day, will I get my paycheck today? Will I not get my paycheck today? If you want to escape that, if you want to get into, oh man, I just received a wire for $30,000. I just received a wire for $5,000, for $10,000, for $50,000. And I built systems to make sure that I'm continuously doing that. Then you can book in a call below. Either me or my team will be happy to get on a call with you and help you start, build, and scale a land flipping business in 2025 so that you can just take your income from 10 to 100 to 100 to 500 to 500 to 1,000 and so on and so forth. This is what we do on a day-to-day basis, and I'd be happy to help you do the same thing. I'll see you in the next video.